Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 157 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We actually have 5 main formats of our show. So first we have 40 and Fortitude episodes. Now in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. So we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. Now in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. So we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. Now in these physical vitality ones, we cover everything to do with Untapped Training, which is our company's training through our fully custom Untapped app. So guys, if you have any questions, curiosities, you want more information about what we offer, again, through our fully custom Untapped Training app, please reach out to us. In these episodes, we also cover everything to do with the gym, nutrition, diet, workouts, supplements, mental toughness programs like 75 Hard. And then sometimes we'll take trending articles or topics within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Now, guys, these physical vitality episodes are full of free game, and I cannot stress this enough. So make sure you pay attention because you're not going to find the amount of free game that we give out anywhere else.
I love it, dude. Let's get it. Third format, guys, is our breaking news format. The breaking news format is a current event-based format, is when we sit down and touch on current events, current articles going on in today's world. Now, keep in mind, we could do 3 to 4 episodes like this a week. We are not making that our entire personality on the podcast. We are bringing solutions during those episodes, and it's important to be aware of those things, but we are not making our whole personality. On to our 4th format. That is our Knights Table format. It is a masculinity-based format. It is what we have for you today, actually. We touch on things like toxic masculinity, if it's real, what it is, fatherhood, the impact it's had on our lives, and also male-based topics in general, like we will touch on today, and how important men are to society, not only the United States, but also the world for that matter. Now, keep in mind, I'm 26, Wurtz is 26, and our producer, Mitch, is 24. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you as some all-put-together perfect man. The only person and human being, man, to ever achieve that to walk this earth is Jesus Christ. Now, on to our 5th format. Our 5th format is our guest format. We sit down with an entrepreneur, fitness professional, athlete, doctor, anybody that brings you value, we're going to sit down with. We learn a lot from those episodes. You are also going to learn a lot from those guest episodes. Our past ones have been phenomenal. We have other ones in the works right now that are very exciting as well.
Yes.
Now, last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
What's up? What's going on?
What do you have on your lap?
Oh, gosh. Get him out of the camera.
A marshmallow.
Yeah.
I have a marshmallow.
He looks like it.
He kind of does. For those of you listening, Mitch currently has a tiny white fluffy dog on his lap. Not really sure why.
Yeah. He's very attached to
Needs
Mitchell.
attention,
It's true.
I guess.
We're watching one of our family friends' dogs right now, and he's something else. He's very attached to Mitchell. It's hilarious.
It's a ferocious animal right there.
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about like that man versus dog argument going on right now? Have you seen that on TikTok at all? It's like the new TikTok thing right now with men. It's like whether or not they could beat dogs in a fight. Like one-on-one, just a dog and them. No weapons, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's now, obviously, it's dependent on breed, I think, in a lot of ways. Like if you're doing it against a Tibetan Mastiff or like a Kangal or a County Corso or something like that, you're probably done for. But yeah,
I could take him.
Big argument. But that is one dog that would definitely be in the you can take him category.
We'd be screwed.
Yeah, look at him.
It's good thing his underbite's not on camera right now.
It's just his eyes on camera. It's so funny. Oh, my goodness. Well, guys, like Gabel mentioned here for episode 157, we do have a Knights Table episode. And this one is all about... Now, this is a list episode, but it's not a top 3 list.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying these are the top 3.
Or the only 3.
Or the only 3 masculine hobbies that men should have. These are just 3 examples. Some of which we partake in daily. Some that we wish we partook in daily. Like golf.
Correct. Like golf, yeah. Also, too, we're not touching, like, this is not a lifestyle episode. These are hobbies.
Correct.
The word hobbies is the real key here that we're going to go over.
Yes.
Because lifestyle would be things like, we thought about actually doing this, but we, like fitness, martial arts, firearms, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Those should be lifestyle stuff that you
Correct.
partake in some manner. Doesn't mean you have to go to jiu-jitsu 4+ days a week or something like that.
Right.
Whatever. Like, for example, Mitch and I trained it for a year and a half. It was great. It was phenomenal. Firearms, you train as much as you can because obviously it's sometimes tough to do that. It can be
Sure.
an expensive hobby too.
It can be.
Just like golf can be, we're going to talk about. But
Right.
just wanted to make that clear
Yeah.
with the lifestyle separation. Like fitness should be a lifestyle,
Exactly.
as we talked about. So
Exactly.
it shouldn't be a hobby,
Right.
So
I think with fitness, hobbies can be associated with fitness, but fitness itself, working out itself, getting movement itself,
Mhm.
that should not be a hobby. Again, it should be a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But there can be things related to fitness that can be hobbies, like content, for example.
Correct.
That can be a hobby.
Mhm.
But first one, this is one that we all thoroughly enjoy. It would be cigars.
Mhm.
Cigars, having drinks with your boys and things like that.
Mhm.
Even
going to a brewery,
going to a brewery.
sitting down for some whiskey.
Yeah. Speakeasy type thing. Like,
Speakeasy,
that can be
yeah,
cool.
100%.
Um,
If you're 21 plus,
of
for
course.
all these, let's just caveat that
Of
for our
course.
young listeners. If you're
Yes.
21 plus,
And for
anyways.
the legality. of
Yes,
this episode.
correct. Correct. Yes.
Good point there. I think cigars are a great one. It's a great hobby. One that you two got me into. And it's very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
100%.
And the cigar itself doesn't necessarily make it enjoyable. The cigars are fantastic, by the way.
Mhm.
I have nothing against that. But it's what comes with it. It's the conversation, it's the vibe, the setting, possibly. We've smoked cigars in many different places, from a deck to walking to, I don't know,
Golfing.
golfing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's plenty of others that I'm forgetting.
At a lounge.
I was going to say at a lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because truthfully, that's actually a real quick point there. Cigar lounges are really one of the only almost entirely male-dominated spaces there are left in the world.
Yeah.
Which I think is extremely important, by the
Yeah.
way, too. It doesn't mean that you're like, you need to spend all your time in male-dominated spaces and
Sure.
be like afraid of women or away from women all the time. Not what I'm
Right.
saying. But it is important to have spaces where men can talk to other men.
Yeah.
Because there is a difference in conversation when you talk man to man compared to man to woman. There's definitely
Right.
like a different.
Or even man to woman. Meaning like if a woman is part of the conversation,
Oh.
it might be different. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, at first I was like, am I lost right now?
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a very good point. But it's just, you're right. Like, if a woman's part of the conversation, it does change the dynamic of it. There's no
Sure.
doubt. One, there may or may not be things you don't want to say around women because
Right.
one, it's like very unbecoming to say certain things. Like,
Sure.
just like for example, like be super vulgar around women.
Right.
Like, that's weird.
Right.
Like, don't do that around women. Like,
Let a fart rip.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess unless it's your wife, you know what I mean? Like, then sure, I would imagine she's heard you fart by now. You know what I mean? Like, Holly's heard me fart, obviously, like plenty of times.
Oh, goodness.
There's no doubt about that. We knew this was going to come with a funny aspect. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I think cigar shops are very important because you can sit down and again, like there's a certain aspects of society of like how to change the world that is a male to male conversation
Sure.
that should be had.
I mean, dude,
you know?
those types of things used to happen in taverns.
Absolutely. Same idea. Yeah.
And
Speakeasy, what you were talking about, is another great
for
idea.
sure.
Yeah.
And this is not an original idea, but something that Andy Frisell has brought up many a times during COVID. Part of the reason bars and things like that were shut down was for that reason.
Correct.
Back in the old days, in the taverns, that's where men brought up the ideas of revolution and things like that.
Where the 3%ers came to be.
Exactly.
For this country.
Exactly.
100%.
So, there's so many things that come with smoking cigars with other men,
Mhm.
and
this is not encouraging like having one daily or like 3 times a day or something like that. This is
No.
not encouraging. And it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about, obviously 21 plus we're talking to here. I'm talking for anybody. It doesn't matter your age. Like 23,
yeah,
you shouldn't be having a daily cigar probably.
No.
More than likely, I would argue at least.
Right.
There's not really like when it comes to health benefits of cigars, I mean, there's some people argue it increases your testosterone. I think that might be just a little bit of a meme argue.
I think so.
Now, granted, I don't think cigars are anywhere near as detrimental to your health as something like a vape or a cigarette is or something like
Correct.
that. Not near the same because you
Correct.
don't inhale
Right.
that type of stuff. But same with whiskey. Like this shouldn't be an everyday thing. Like
Correct.
it just, when those hobbies become more than hobbies and they become just like part of your habits and
habit.
whatnot, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like that's when it starts becoming a little concerning because
Sure.
again, these can be considered vices
Yeah.
too, to a certain degree
Absolutely.
as
Yeah.
well. And I think too, you know, I would also rather somebody smoke a cigar once every 2 weeks than smoke weed once every 2 weeks or something like that,
Sure.
truthfully.
Sure.
And the reason I say that too is because the cigar one is going to be a more masculine hobby than sitting down smoking weed
Right.
and whatnot. And again, like if you do, it's legal, whatever, but we're not going to consider it in the same realm as cigars and whatnot in this scenario. You know what I mean?
Cigar also doesn't impair you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And basically, and the problem with weed that I have a lot of times is the sedation aspect.
Yeah.
There are a couple people I know who are very high functioning and they smoke it at night or something like that once a day or something like that. And they are high functioning, but there's still health issues that come along with that in the same way that health issues come along with alcohol if you utilize it too much as well.
You can be a high functioning alcoholic.
Exactly. Exactly. And the problem with that is that again, 90% plus of the people you interact with that smoke weed consistently are losers.
Yes.
A lot of times.
Yes.
So that's why and 90+% of the people I interact with that smoke cigars are the exact opposite of that.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
and again, that's not saying that, again, that you should be smoking cigars 3 times a day.
Right.
That's not what it's suggesting at all.
I mean, when we do, it's a special occasion.
It's like at most for me, it's like once every 2 weeks, once every month.
Yeah.
But even then, so there are times where it'll be once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Because I'll just get spaced out and won't have time for it and whatnot.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I have, honestly. But I always very, very thoroughly enjoy it. The cigar itself, of course, but also just, as we've mentioned, everything that comes with it.
100%.
So.
Yeah. And the whiskey and speakeasy, you could say the same thing for in this
Absolutely.
scenario. And we're not talking about, and we even had this conversation before, with whiskey, we're not talking about Evan Williams, and Jack Daniels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like low class stuff. We're talking like sitting down, opening a bottle that you don't drink hardly at all.
Yeah, right.
If you barely see it,
right,
comes off the shelf, it's that special whiskey.
Right.
You drink it, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, moving right along here, this is one that I really enjoyed this one, and it's kind of a double point a little bit, but we'll kind of explain it. And this one is being creative inside of a group, and a perfect example for you and I is the book club we're in. We're in a book club. The name of the book club is Brewed Buzz, which, funny enough, comes from cigars and coffee.
Yep.
But something that I love about this book club we were part of, there's probably 10 guys?
I think there's
10
about
guys in
10
there?
guys now.
Maybe 10, 12, something like that. So it's, it's a pretty small group, and you and I were the OGs with the guy that created it, which was pretty awesome. And to be a part of the evolution of it is also a very, very cool thing. But what I love about it is just all of the different perspectives on many different topics. And it's mostly perspectives on life and business-related things, career-related things. Obviously, the book we're reading.
Faith is a common topic that pops up.
Actually, it's a great one.
Which is awesome because most of that group is also, I think most of, if not all of that group is Christian.
Well,
I understand, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From my understanding as well. But I think you and I are probably the oldest ones in it as well.
There might be one guy that's like our age, I believe. But I think you're right. We're at the upper end of the age and upper end, even though the youngest guys are like 23 and 24.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's where I was going with that is these younger guys who, again, like you just mentioned, they might be literally 2 or 3 years younger than us. So it's not much. It's Mitch, But these guys just have a very interesting perspective on what?
You said Mitchell's name and he started staring at you.
Oh, I didn't mean that negatively.
No,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's giving him shit. Yeah.
But the different perspectives that even guys that are just a couple years younger than us, that they have on these multitude of topics that we talk about, and it's always so productive, and it's been a few months since I've been a part of our end of the month meetings. Just it always seems like something comes up, but and that's on me more than anything. But we have a group call at the end of each month to review the book and then bounce ideas off each other through the book and through the reading. And it's always just so productive, and we don't really personally know these guys. Like we've never met most of them. As a matter of fact, I have not met in person any of them.
Yep, and I've just met one of the guys, the owner of also VFS Apparel. You
Right.
see us wearing a lot of times.
Actually,
in
I'm
our
wearing it
hat
right now
too.
on my hat. Yeah.
Yep.
Funny enough. But where this is going, where this point is going, is be a part of a group of some sort. And if you don't have a group to be a part of, start one. You know, we're involved very heavily in the fitness community here in St. Louis. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone listening or watching. You know, you're wearing First Form. I got an S2 shirt on right now. But the communities that we're a part of here in St. Louis are fantastic. I mean, they're awesome. We have met so many great people. We have made so many great connections. You know, I was down in Springfield, Missouri, Easter weekend, and I went to one of the S2s there, and I had never met these people. They had never seen me. I'd never seen them, but immediately we connected because we all are involved in the same community. Even these people that are down in Springfield, you know, 3 hours away from St. Louis, from everything else related to First Form and S2. And we walked out, and my dad even made the comment, it's like, man, S2 just has a lot of really great people. And he goes, you and Gabel have really met a lot of great people. And I said, yeah, we have. And it's amazing. And we're both super thankful for it. And it continues to grow even more. That's obviously how we've had many of our guests on this podcast. We have many mentors that have come from those communities. And then on the flip side, we have something very unrelated to the fitness community. There's plenty of fitness talk in our book club, but it's not related. Like, it didn't start because of fitness, is my point. It started because us young guys wanted a group to hold each other accountable to a habit such as reading and plenty of other things, of course. But hold each other accountable in that sense, get ideas from each other, you know, talk about faith in different ways, you know, get answers on faith, ask questions on faith, send different quotes or, you know, different parts of the book we might be reading that month. You know, we send that in and say, hey, this really clicked with me for this reason. Or there's been times where we kind of have like an Instagram group as well with this book club where sometimes things are sent, not super active, but there's times where things get sent and we can even have almost disagreements on what we took from that video or took from that post, and things we agree or disagree on. And it can be eye-opening, you know, which is just something I love about it. I really do. And the book we're reading this month right now, The Creative Act, has just been phenomenal. I think anyway, I've loved it so far. It's really gotten me back into kind of my creative senses and has really kind of reignited that creative spark that I was kind of lacking for a while, like in my content and things like that, because I love being creative and I love creating a vision for a post or for a video and things like that. I mean, you've been with me on many occasions when I'm filming for a certain video, and like the amount of detail I break it down into you, and you may not understand it, but you know the amount of detail that I get really excited about to film a particular vision that I can see in my head. And so the book that we're currently reading through this group is where I'm connecting all this, has reignited a lot of those things for me because I was kind of lacking that for a while. You know, it's for those of you that maybe are consistent content creators in the way of creating content kind of in the way I do, not necessarily like the daily fitness stuff that you're posting, but in the way that I'm trying to, like those of you that may do that as well, you know that you're going to go through plenty of peaks and valleys is not really what I mean. It's kind of like that, but you're going to go through a lot of lulls on that content creating journey because there's so much to compete with on social media. There's so many different creators, and you know, this style will be in for a while, and then it'll be this style, and then it'll be this style. And if you're late to the game on any of those, like you're not going anywhere. You're not growing at all, you know, and maybe you're trying to grow your following and things like that, but you're also trying to grow your creative senses, you know, because it's a gift you're bringing to the world in a way. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I kind of just went on a long tangent that I didn't necessarily mean to, but it was all connected. Like all of that stems from being in this group. Yeah. Was my point.
Yeah. Well, and you're talking about joining a men's group that inspires you to do things that are a little bit outside the box. I mean, it could also just be an accountability group too.
Sure.
That you could be joining. When it comes to being creative too, I think a new thing that's going to make a rise in these next probably 4 to 5 years because of AI is a desire for human art, so to speak.
An interaction.
You think of like Michelangelo and how he would lock himself in a room for 5 years essentially and just build these sculptures,
Yeah.
out of rock.
Right.
That's, just this badass
Stone
stuff. Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like things like that. I think there's going to be a really big desire to turn back to human art in a lot of ways. And I think men can have something to do as, again, it doesn't have to be their main thing. Photography, videography is a good way to do that because you could be out taking pictures of something that somebody's photographed over and over again, but you're putting your different spin on it, that type of stuff. You're out in nature. You're photographing animals. There's like really cool stuff that shows up on social media where people photograph animals.
And they're beautiful
and they're
videos and pictures.
Incredible.
Some of the nature stuff is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And you and I know too with the AI stuff, this is actually a little important point along with the creative side of things. The AI stuff is trying to take away that human aspect in a lot of ways, and it's not trying. I don't mean that. It's like humans think it's like the gold standard now, AI is and whatnot. And realistically, it takes a lot of humanity out of stuff because now now what's going to happen is AI is going to start producing movies full time. They're going to start producing TV shows. They're going to start producing pictures at the drop of a hat because you're going to be like, hey, show me a picture of a grizzly bear in Montana. And it's going to be like, oh, cool. Here you go.
Right.
Here's what it looks like. Instead, what I want to see and you want to see is a dude actually go with his freakishly cool camera and take pictures of this grizzly bear in Montana himself.
Right.
That's what we want to see. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I think it's going to bring back a desire for that in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And I think there's a big gap for a lot of men to really get creative with a lot of this stuff. I really do. Because I think it could make serious waves against the AI aspect of things. You know what I mean? And again, like Andy's talked about a little bit, AI is inevitable to a certain point, but
it's here.
it's here. You know what I mean? But it is 100% a prerogative that humans need to make very much so a priority is keeping our humanity while AI continues to grow and whatnot. Again, you can use it as a tool and whatnot to a certain degree to assist and make you better in the workforce, in your career, whatever it is. But losing your humanity is a whole different story.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting there like making memes out of AI and that's all you're using it for, like you're basically like this slop consumer that is perfect for the whatever you want to call it, the New World Order or whatever, that
the
type of stuff. The system, essentially. You're basically the perfect consumer for them at that point in time.
Right.
That's what they want because those type of people will go on universal basic income and be a consistent consumer of this slop, and they'll just get subsidized by the government, essentially, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. A perfect example of what you're talking about as far as the AI type thing. So with my job, I'm in and out of grocery stores all day long. And in St. Louis here, there's two main grocery chains. For those of you here, you probably know them. There's one, and I'm not going to say the names because I don't need to like shit on them publicly or anything like that. But there's one of them, one of these chains, that to check their inventory in the store, they have these robots that they basically look like tower fans, like you put in your room. Not a ceiling fan, but like a tower fan, like sits there and oscillates and, everyone has one. They kind of look like that.
Big word. Oscillates. That was nice.
Yeah, no big
Nice
deal.
work.
I'm smart. Yeah. I finished high school. But anyway, one of these grocery chains has these robots, these AI machines, whatever, that go through the store on their own, kind of operate like a Roomba. Because the base of it looks like a Roomba, and then it basically, again, it looks like a tower fan on the top. And they're pretty tall. Not quite as tall as you and I, but they're pretty tall. It very obvious. It like makes noise. It has little eyes on the front. Its name is Tally. And what Tally does is it checks the inventory of the store. So it's just while customers and workers are going in and out of aisles, this thing goes down the aisles and is checking the inventory. I don't know how it works. It's got all kinds of scanners on the side and front and back and all this. And it's like, okay, on one side, you said you could use AI to make you better or make you more efficient or make your business more efficient. That's what this is doing. It's helping this grocery chain be more efficient throughout the day. They don't have to send a person or multiple people to go through the store each day and check the inventory because that takes a lot of time. There's a lot of products in a grocery store. But on the flip side of that is the exact same point. How many jobs does that take away? Might just be checking inventory.
And again, it's just as simple as checking inventory. But again, there is a part of the population that needs jobs like that.
Correct.
Because there's a part of the population, everybody's seen it in grocery stores and restaurants and whatever, that never will go past that point. There is a truth to that. Not everybody's going to be a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur.
Sure.
Not everybody's going to be an extremely productive worker. That's
Right.
true.
And that's okay.
That's okay. That's totally okay. That's
okay.
part of the deal that you sign up for with the human race.
Right.
But does it get rid of those people?
Exactly.
You
Well,
know?
it gets rid of those people, but it also causes the store or the business to lose that aspect of humanity that you're talking about, because this person's job might be to check inventory throughout the store. Let's say they do that every day. They have to go through each one and scan it or whatever. But let's say you're shopping and you don't know where the bread aisle is. Well, you can't ask Tally where the bread is, but you can ask the worker, hey, where's the bread aisle? And then they tell you.
I also don't want to talk to a robot to ask me where,
exactly.
where the bread is. I don't.
Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yeah.
It is. But so that's just an example. And I always mess with Tally. Like, I always get in its way and like put boxes so that it can't move. Like, I'll put a box in front and behind so it just like sits there and like rocks.
Yeah.
It's like, I bested you.
Bro, that's so funny.
Oh, I can't stand it because it gets in my way.
Here's the problem, though. They're going to turn into that iRobot, and they're going to come right after you because you're messing with them.
Right.
That's why I'm like low-key, I don't mess with the Roombas to a certain degree, because I'm like, man, I know you're going to like attack me at some point in time.
Right.
So like, I'm going to be nice to you.
It's a IED in my house or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Basically. Yeah. 100%.
But I do. I always mess with it. It's funny. Well, it's because I'm him. I have to assert my dominance over the machine.
Of course. Mitchell, what do you think about this? Like, do you actually agree? Do you think AI is going to create jobs for these people that are just stocking inventory in this scenario, for example, or are just restaurant workers? Do you think it's best? You being in cybersecurity, give your thoughts on it a little bit here.
And then and tie this into this original point here.
Into the hobbies piece?
Yeah, about humanity and real connection, kind of like what we're talking about here.
It can make people more efficient. It can generate new jobs, but it can't necessarily bring back the ones it's replaced. Once you have a process, that being a robot that checks the shelves, it's hard for a business to go back to a person and say, you guys need to start stocking shelves or start doing inventory again. So once that's gone, it's kind of gone. It's hard to bring back.
Sure. Because do we pay, $5,000 for this machine, or do we rehire a team of 10 people that need salary and benefits and these things that, you're talking probably $1 million, multi-million-dollar to $5,000 machine.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see that with the model of most things nowadays. Wherever you look, is almost everything's a subscription model. You don't really own things anymore, right? So growing up, you'd have a CD, right? You would go out and buy a movie, and that movie would be yours. You have a physical copy of that movie. Nowadays, you think you go on Amazon Prime, sure, you buy a movie, but it's just a digital thing in an app that you have to pay to use.
Good point. And if you stop paying for that subscription,
correct,
you don't have that movie
it goes
anymore.
away. So
Right.
so that's a trend that we've been seeing for a long, long time, where it's been moved away from you own the model to you rent it.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of tech and in terms of like corporate life, AI can be very helpful in terms of more quickly building out data sets and dashboards and helping you maybe get rid of the admin work, right? Removing you having to type out an email, or remove you having to do a repeatable task. That's where they can be really helpful. I will raise the question that a lot of these tasks that AI might be removing, they are repeatable, and to a business, it's going to be more profitable, right? No doubt. So that's a hard argument to make.
Yeah.
Because most businesses are not going to be necessarily focused on that moral piece. You're going to be focused on your bottom line. So I understand where they're coming from. What I would say to that is, don't remove the individual from the company. Maybe see if you can find another role for them where they're needed. Right.
And going back to your, like, the movie point, the way that this can tie in to this point is people used to get in groups and go to the movie theater.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'd all go see a movie together and things like that. And it would be a human interactive situation. Experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great word.
So what I would move to that is removing a repeatable task like inventory. How about move that person, keep them in the same company, but have them work a register, right? We're not at the point in time where AI or anything can consistently be able to pick something up and scan it or know how to turn something. So you still need humans at registers for the most part.
Sure.
I mean, there's grocery stores here that will have two people in the checkout lane open, and you have the self checkout, and the line for the normal checkout with people is wrapped down an aisle.
Right.
Why not take that person who you removed by doing inventory and move them to that position where they can still be making a wage.
Mm-hmm.
They're still part of the company. It's just a little bit more effective position.
Right.
That's my take on it.
And an impact, by the way, being at the register too, because that's the human aspect.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why whenever I go to our grocery chains here in St. Louis, I always go I was at Costco last night getting gas and whatnot, for example, and then I also went in and got classic gallon of milk and whatnot. But I went in there and the lines for the human ones were huge.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through there.
Yeah.
Now, granted, of course, some of them had big carts. I had probably a total of 5 or 6 things. I totally could have gone through the self-checkout.
Sure.
But I was like, no, I'm going through the human line because I want to talk to these people.
Right.
And lo and behold, the guy at the cash register was awesome. He was a homie.
Yeah.
And just like it is at Deerberg's, the one I go to and frequent a lot of the times here in St. Louis, another grocery chain, as much as I can, unless I have like literally one item and I just need to scan it in and get back to work at Health Source or something like that, then sure, I go through the self-checkout, but then I also talk to the person working the self-checkout too.
Correct.
But then the rest of the time I go in there, I always go through even if I have to wait between somebody or behind somebody who has 32 items and whatnot, I'm still in the human person line because I want to talk to a human.
Correct.
Yep. So, the problem is like then that comes back to the question there. And again, we could do a whole topic episode on this to where the problem you were talking about, the moral aspect, the companies won't worry about that, Mitchell. That's when the question comes in with capitalism. Do we care just about GDP and quarterly growth and that's it? Or do we care about people?
Right.
And that's the consumer, that's going to be on us. It's going to be on us to actually go and interact with human photographers, not some AI photographer, for example. Don't go get memes or something like that from an AI.
Right.
Go actually go support a human in some manner with, I don't know, like going and supporting their channel that takes pictures of grizzly bears in nature, for example, or something like that. Instead of going and wasting your time on AI or whatever, chat GPT to do something like that. Don't do that. And same thing is if companies, have these automated machines that we've seen in grocery stores and whatnot, or whatever it is. I've seen like automated carts in there and stuff like that too. It's really weird. But anyways, then support the companies that don't do that.
Right.
Or the companies that prioritize the human.
Right.
So it's going to be on the consumer for us if we want to decide if it's moral capitalism or unethical late stage capitalism, as we talked about before too.
Well, and I mentioned there were the two main grocery chains here in St. Louis, and you just mentioned one of them. Well, the one I'm talking about has all that stuff. The other one is fantastic, and that's the one that I highly recommend people support because the people at these stores are, well, number one, they're full of real people doing all the jobs. And it's also insane. It doesn't matter what the grocery chain is. This is just a little side point. It is insane the amount of people it takes to run a grocery store. Like it honestly has blown my mind. Whether they have these robot things going through the aisles or not, like still even those ones do. But like there is a ton of people on the staffs of these stores. And it's just like, wow. Like it takes a whole army to run. You think of a grocery store as a simple grocery store. You buy your eggs and your milk and your whatever else there. But it's like there are people with a job for every single thing, and they're all important because if this guy doesn't do his job, you can't buy milk because the milk is out on the shelves.
Or he does it wrong and he doesn't put it in the refrigerator the proper way.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, it's spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It expires. Whatever. So that was just a little side note. It's very fascinating to see the amount of people it takes to run a grocery store.
The human aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
exactly.
Support humans is the point of that.
Yes.
A big part of that. Point number 2 right there.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Point number 3. You knew we were getting to this one. We love it. We talk about it all the time, but sports.
Mhm.
Sports, golf specifically, because that's the one that we're playing a bunch right now and hopefully will forever. But I think golf is a tremendous example because, number one, it does take a long time. Whether you play 9 holes or 18, you're looking at least an hour and a half up to 4.5 hours, So there is a time commitment. There's no doubt. But that's also part of the good. It sounds like, oh man, you're going to be gone for 5 hours golfing. Well, I am, but that's part of what makes it so great is because you're outdoors, you're with, a few of your buddies, and it's you're in nature. You're on a beautiful golf course. The grass is green. The wind is blowing, the sun is shining. Like, it doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't, and so that's the reason we want to specifically say golf, but any of your sports can be that matter. You guys play hockey. I play a lot of slow pitch softball, which is coming back this summer, thank God. But those types of things, it's not even for the athletic standpoint or the continuing to play your sport standpoint, but it kind of goes with point number 2 where you're still a part of a group, you're part of a team. Maybe golf in a different way because you're more a part of a group and you're not collectively playing a game, but you're together, and that's what makes that so great. And you get pissed off together and you laugh together and you get excited together.
You 4-putt together.
You 4-putt together. Yeah. And, you might take cover from some geese that are flying over together.
Until I decapitate one.
But you're doing it together.
Yeah.
But sports are just such a huge one. It could be bowling. Maybe you go bowling once a week, with your boys or whatever, which that's a great way to do it. A lot of these things can also include your significant other as well if you wanted it to. But what we're talking about here is hobbies that men should have, and that's just a few of the things I love about it.
I think the big overarching point was sports too. And you're right. So you'll notice a common theme, guys, with these 3 points here is that each one of these 3 points is something about gathering together as men.
Exactly.
Right? So that's important there.
Yes.
Also, too, what we're just talking about with sports here, a key is that you should be able to play sports to a certain degree. Realistically, you should be able to be athletic in some degree. You should be able to throw a baseball without looking like you lost a brain cell while you did it.
Should you?
I mean, hey, I can still throw it. Again, I'm not gonna be Paul Skeens by any means. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I can't gas somebody out at the plate like you can at home plate or something like that. You know what I mean? But do I look like an idiot throwing a baseball? Not as much as a lot of people do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, so I can still play catch with you if I wanted
Absolutely.
to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Football, am I the best QB? No. But could I throw the football with you if I wanted to? 100%.
Right. Exactly.
100%. You know, I don't look like a woman throwing a football whenever I throw it. It's just truthfully what it is.
Well, and your point is, we're not saying like you got to be able to play in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's not at all. But we're saying like, if I say, "Hey, Gabel, you want to go outside and throw the football around?" Like, we can and we do.
I shouldn't look like an idiot while I do
right,
it. Yeah,
right. But it can also be an enjoyable experience because it's like, we're just out there talking about something stupid, probably, or maybe not. As a matter of fact, like. Could be something really productive, but you happen to be throwing a football around, and
be able to play. I would say be able to play most sports to a decent degree.
Yeah,
like you should be able to go out with your friends and be able to play like a quick pickup game of something.
Yeah,
whether it's football, whether it's basketball,
to be able to shoot hoops
and be somewhat useful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, as you know, I'm not sinking Steph Curry 3-pointers or something like that out there.
Sure,
but can I play decent defense and can I score some layups? Sure, 100%.
Well, and even like as far as basketball goes, like even just like shooting hoops, you're passing it back and forth. You just put up a shot. Yeah, you might airball it, but like who cares? Like whatever.
Yep.
We're still out here.
Volleyball is another one.
Yeah,
that's a really fun one
for
that matter. There's plenty of sand volleyball courts most places that people live too.
Pickleball is obviously a great one.
Yeah, I really truly think that being able to do like 5+ sports is actually an extremely masculine trait to carry. I really do because it could be something as like crazy as snowboarding and skiing as well. We got blessed enough. Mitchell and I went and did that every 2 years growing up with our family. You know what I mean? So we learned the snowboarding route of things, and that's awesome.
Right.
But again, that goes back to like any other episode where we've talked about like young kids should be able to play multiple sports.
Sure.
Like that's a big thing too.
Yep.
Because if you want your athlete to be an athlete, You should be playing multiple sports.
Absolutely.
And even now, if you're 20 plus years old and you really haven't played many sports or you weren't good at them when you did, that's something you should prioritize 100% in your free time with your guys.
Right.
100%. That's being able, because again, athletics and sports go back to a big topic when it comes to men, is that originally sports were created to prepare for war.
Sure.
So
They were.
to a degree, you should be able to play these sports to some kind of useful,
Competitive
like
nature.
if I throw a football to you, like pretty lightly, you should be able to catch it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That type of thing. Like,
Yes.
and because then you run into like the only tech nerd thing of things and whatnot, and then they start doing the AI stuff and whatnot, and that's all they do for anything, for any type of fun or whatnot or whatever it is. And again, golf's also very difficult. So we're not saying you're going to be a pro at these sports at all. That's a real big key here.
Right.
But be useful enough at these sports that you can be an asset to the team if you're playing, or just so you can go out there and have fun. And it's not a miserable activity to you.
100%.
So
100%.
were you about to say something, Mil? No?
No.
Okay, cool.
Well, guys, that is episode 157. Now, at the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question. Those can be submitted to us a few different ways. Number one, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually or text them to us if you have our numbers. You can email them to us. Excuse me. You can email them to us at extricationfitness@gmail.com. Now, it's a mouthful. There's an email button in our Instagram and our Facebook bio, so you can just click that button. It'll take you right to your email app. You can send us an email and send your questions in that way. And finally, you can leave them in the comments of any of our social media posts on any platform. So that's Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube. All of our podcast episodes are on YouTube along with our vlogs. A lot of content on YouTube. So if you're a usual listener, go over and check out our YouTube channels and subscribe to those, like, comment, all that good stuff. This is all free. But these questions can be about anything. They can be related to a past episode. They can be related to a future topic that maybe you want us to talk about, and you start with a question. They can definitely be funny. Last week, we had a very funny one. How many holes does a straw have? We came to the conclusion that it was one. Crazy.
Wild.
The revelation.
Groundbreaking.
But they can be funny. They can be about anything. Supplement, it doesn't matter. Send in your Q&A questions. We are very reachable. And all those get sent over to Money Mitch. He then picks one out that pertains to the episode. Maybe it's just a random question, or again, maybe it is a funny one. All that being said, Money Mitch, what you got for us today?
Should a hobby result in monetary value to you? Right? So should a hobby make you money?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Good one.
Yeah. I mean, I will say on the aspect, this is not going to be a direct answer for sure, because you could make the argument that yes and no are both options here with hobbies.
Well, they are.
Yeah, they are. And because in the way of, we were talking about men gathering, well, if men are gathering, usually that could mean something like networking's coming along with it too.
Absolutely.
With these hobbies.
Yeah.
And then that is something that could and will likely, if you utilize those connections, right, make you money.
Right.
So there's the yes aspect. The no aspect, I mean, again, these hobbies are supposed to be fun too. You're supposed to be able to sit back and enjoy yourself to a certain degree as well. So, it's not like you have to be sitting smoking cigars and at the same time your right hand's on the computer while your left hand's smoking the cigar. Like making sure you're typing up the next sale or getting the stock trades up or whatever, something like that. That's a little bit unnecessary. There is a point of sitting back with cigars, sports, being creative and whatnot, where it's like you just kind of sit in the moment and enjoy it too.
Sure.
So, yeah,
absolutely. I agree with everything you just said. The yes side for me, I think it can go to a certain point and still be considered a hobby before it's considered a side hustle or your main gig or things like that. I know that if I put myself out there, like, there would be people that would pay me to do their content. And it would still be a hobby, but knowing myself, I would want to turn it into like a real gig, which is something I've very much considered, because it would also cause me to have to step up my skills, which is always a good thing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with making money on your hobby, because maybe your hobby is, it's kind of a funny one. I don't know if it's really a hobby, but maybe your hobby is mowing grass. You know what I mean? Like, as funny as that sounds, it's more of a chore
It
for
is a
most
masculine
people.
trait to be
Yeah,
partaking
right.
in. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we should have put.
If you have your wife consistently mowing the grass for you, that's a problem.
Yeah, maybe
sure.
point 4 should have been mow the grass. Maybe let's pick a different one. Maybe a hobby is making bracelets. I don't know. Like you're just you have a knack for making bracelets, you know? Why not sell them? You know what I mean? Like, why not sell them?
Yeah. Especially if they're like that really like sleek masculine look to them.
Yeah,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
That's probably what you're thinking of here
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
There's I don't know that like jewelry is necessarily made in this way anymore. It very well could be, but you know, where it's like you melt the metal, you pour it into a form, the form cools, and you have whatever that form was.
You're almost talking about like being a blacksmith.
Well, kind of,
degree, yeah.
or glass blowing. Glass blowing is like, I don't, if you
Super
guys have,
cool.
if you have not ever watched glass blowing, like in person, you know, YouTube video, it'll look cool, but watching it in person is actually crazy. Like, it's insane. So if you guys have not done that before, like, I do highly recommend that. I have done that, and it's like, it's a wild experience to watch that. That could be a hobby, but why not sell the cups that you make from glass blowing, or sell the wind chimes that you make from glass blowing, or whatever it might be, you know? So there's nothing wrong with making money off of a hobby, in my opinion. I just think it gets to a certain point where maybe it turns into your full income. And in that case, I don't know if it's necessarily considered a hobby.
It's your career, but
yeah,
I mean,
and again, if you can turn a hobby into a career, that's a really good thing, because you're going to enjoy it.
I was going to say, think
like,
about guys that are professional athletes. I mean, that's
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
100%.
Now, granted, you think about somebody like Rory, who just won the Masters. You know, I mean, he's been playing golf since he was probably 3-4 years old,
probably,
and like 6-7 days a week.
Right.
That wouldn't be really considered a hobby at that point in time.
Exactly.
You know, like that's a job.
Right.
100%. Just like the NFL or NHL guys or whatnot. Like, if you ever hear about an NHL guy's off season, you know, let's say they make it all the way to June, Stanley Cup and whatnot. They'll take 2 weeks off skating or whatever. And then after that, you know, they're waking up, doing sprints in the morning.
Yeah.
Then going to the gym, doing an 1.5-hour session there or something like that.
Right. Then
they're eating breakfast right after that. That's a really good, purposeful breakfast. It's not a hobby or whatnot. Neither of those two things we listed. Then maybe you get a little free time in between that, but then you go skate.
Right.
In the off season. So like
it's not a hobby, it's a job. Like you just said.
And
it's
again, you can
job.
love your job.
Right.
It's just that, it does become like a debate between the hobby and job thing and career thing at that point in time.
And then just on my no side, it kind of goes along with what you said, but I think on the no side, if you keep money out of it, I think that helps keep the enjoyment aspect there. Because if a hobby, if you do turn it into that career or that main source of income, you could lose the excitement, the passion, for the hobby, because it's not a hobby anymore. It's, if I don't do this, I don't make money. Instead of, hey, I have an extra, I have free time for the next 90 minutes. Let me sit down and edit and create a video that I'm really excited about and I'm passionate about, and I enjoy doing this. But it can be turned into, if I don't use these 90 minutes to make this video, I don't eat. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So then it's like, now the pressure's on. Now I'm not enjoying it because I'm anxious about getting this done and making it look good. Is the customer going to be happy? Things like that. So it's a weird, there's a fine line, I would say.
You have to understand the dichotomy between the two if you're going to choose hobby or career, essentially, is what it is.
Exactly.
And you have to understand that if you go full time with it, it's going to feel like a career. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, good. Again, do we love training? 100% we love training, but we don't love it as much as we would if we were doing it for free.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like a side thing.
Right.
Then sure. Yeah, we would probably feel like it was just a hobby.
Yeah.
But it's 100% a career for us.
Exactly.
In a lot of ways, you know?
Exactly.
What do you think, Mitch? What is your answer to the question here? To the Q&A question?
You should have 3 types of hobbies.
This dude was locked and loaded.
He's so analytical. It's so funny.
One that makes you money. one that keeps you fit physically, and one that keeps you fit mentally. You have 3 types of hobbies. That's my opinion.
I was just staring him down.
I was trying to take him seriously because it was really good. It was just like I wanted to laugh.
All right.
I don't know why.
All right, well,
Yeah.
screw me.
It was
huh?
good. It was all right.
I get it.
It was really good.
It was.
It's
It was.
true, yeah.
No, I think those are
Yeah.
fantastic points.
You have 3 types.
Yeah.
And again, then you get into semantics of arguing, like that, because the thing is, like Mitchell's right. Like we can call it a hobby in all 3 of those scenarios. Like we
Right.
don't have to worry about semantics of just because it makes you money, is it not a hobby? Okay,
Right.
Like let's call it.
I think we just made it pretty clear.
pretty clear.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have to argue over whether or not. Oh, use the right word here, like that. Really? Come on, we don't know. We don't need to do
A
that.
great one could be your moneymaker is photography. That's your hobby, right? You don't have to do it 40 hours a week. You do one session every 3 months or something like that, just because
Your bag obtainer.
you already do it. Yes,
Yeah.
the bag alert.
The bag alert.
Your physical is you love going on hikes. And then your mental is you enjoy jigsaw puzzles. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it could
and
be literally
crossword
Chess.
puzzles. I don't know.
could
Like,
be anything.
Yeah.
Money, physical, and mental.
Yeah.
Gonna be a lot happier.
No, I think that's fantastic, dude. And notice that he said going on hikes for the fit. It wasn't go to the gym.
Right.
Because as we established in like minute 4 of this podcast, that should be lifestyle. That's not a hobby.
Yeah.
So good point there, buddy.
One that's combined, cycling. A lot of people, that could be your hobby that is mentally rejuvenating for you
Sure.
and physically rejuvenating for
bro,
you. I mean,
cyclists have like dialed VO2 maxes too.
Yeah, I mean,
those guys'
crazy.
cardiovascular
You're,
health is
uh,
insane.
you know, you like riding on the levee here in St. Louis, right? You can go over to the Katy Trail and string together a 100-mile ride, no problem at all.
Oh yeah. I do it
I mean,
every other day.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you turn your brain off on that,
Yeah.
right? You're just looking at gravel for miles and miles on miles, but you don't
Right.
have to think. You just pedal, but it's getting you physically fit and you're just checking out from your day to day. I mean, that's a
Right.
great option.
I prefer to use an e-bike pushing me at 20, 25 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
I'm more on that as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I don't feel like
I just
pedaling.
give up on the physical fitness aspect and I just let the bike pedal for me.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I get to a point where I'm just like, I don't feel like pedaling anymore, but I'm still going to go 100
Yeah.
miles.
I'm still at 33% body fat, but that's okay. Yeah.
So I wonder, would
By the way, what I mean is that if you're fat, don't get an e-bike, get a regular bike and bike your damn fat ass around.
I asked ChatGPT to build me a video to show me biking.
It's so true. There's some people, it's like, I want to watch this. Can I see an animal? Make me a orangutan on ChatGPT.
I might
orangutan?
my avatar go around and ride around. That's what I do.
I counted as my Strava work.
Yep.
So
I put on my Strava.
I have a on Mitch's note here. Would golf really fit into our mental hobby? Because I mean, does it make us happy? I mean, do we enjoy it? I mean, I feel like basically anytime we leave a course, we're pretty pissed off.
Mental fitness. Yeah. Well, I mean, because you're doing something that is impossible. So you're pushing through this impossible task to then miss your birdie putt after you drop it right on the green with your pitching wedge. Oh, this totally wasn't a personal experience of mine on last Friday or anything like that.
I guess you could say through golf we are forging fortitude. Hey, what's the matter with that, huh?
Gosh.
I'm forging a broken driver. That's what
Oh
I'm
my
doing.
Gosh.
Yeah, he went last night and I
saw that.
go, what? You're like, what do you mean?
I'm in the lab.
I was like, bro,
I'm
He's
in the lab.
interested. Don't you worry.
we'll get him. We'll get him for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah, my 5-iron.
Little bachelor trip might have
Yeah,
to
my-
might have to have some work
My
on it.
5-iron was striping at least, I don't know, 325. I mean, it was no big deal, but
Oh, I didn't know we had Bryson DeChambeau in the room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right. We have
Enough
gone.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Because that's not what you guys come to this podcast for. Okay.
Oh man, we went on a lot of different tangents there.
I mean, truthfully, I will say this: by far, not our most off-topic episode by any means. Not even close.
We always find a way to connect.
There was
it.
some breaking news episode I remember. I don't even remember what number it was because I want to forget it. But it was so off-topic. I remember. A lot of good points. It just didn't tie together at all. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we do that sometimes. We do
Oh.
that sometimes. Yeah,
Mitchell just robbed you. real
that's
quick.
okay.
Yeah.
But before we go, all right, on a serious note here, go get an Untapped smoothie.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to get jacked immediately, within seconds, go get an Untapped smoothie from your nearest S2 location with a smoothie bar.
What do they put on the actual drink?
Tap into your potential.
Tap into your potential.
That's
There we
right.
go. Yep.
That's right. And confirmed, you can get it in locations outside of St. Louis, because I was in Springfield, Missouri 2 weekends ago, Easter weekend, and got it down there.
Now make sure they put teaspoon in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lemonade mix, guys. If they ask, it's a teaspoon.
Correct.
Not
If
a
they overdo
tablespoon.
it will be very tart.
It's tart.
Very
Again,
tart.
if you like that,
It
great.
still tastes good.
Tell them to put a tablespoon in.
Just a little harder to get it down.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But again, you literally, even at the side of it, you can feel your muscles growing. You can feel it. And
I
then
feel like I'm listening to Jocko right
and
now.
then
in the world.
you take your first drink and you can just see your biceps growing. The blood flow is immaculate. Go get yourself an Untapped smoothie, guys.
If you guys can quote this part of the episode, then we know you've been here the whole time. So
That is right. Guys, that is episode 157. Thank you for sticking with us if you did. Until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Boom!